All go silent. Welcome everyone. We're going to officially start at 5:30, and that's because this event is going to be live streamed. So we're going to be on YouTube, I'm going to be on LinkedIn. So anytime that I introduce someone, or anytime a speaker finishes speaking and they go away, really loud like applause. Let's show the world that we're actually back physically and we're doing stuff. So just do a quick round of applause now. Okay, stop. So that's too quiet. You're going to have to do way. That is not going to get picked up on the cameras, okay? So do that again, but 3 times as loud. Okay, cool. There we go. So I'll just quickly, before the stream starts, I'll just say like really big thank you, first of all, to coming here to a physical event. This is literally the first time we've done this in something like 2.5 years. So it feels quite strange. We're on like nervous energy. I haven't really slept for like 2 nights. So if I bounce about a bit, that's why, because I haven't done it for 2 years. Secondly, Sir Thomas White, the Sir Thomas White Loan Charity, you're going to hear from them tonight. This event wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for them. And this is a whole series of events. These are going to be taking place on a regular basis. So we have a huge thank you to them. So you're going to be hearing from them today. And you're also going to be hearing about a massive new entrepreneurship program that is coming to Leicester. We're running it here at DMU in association with BiD Leicester. You'll be hearing from Simon from BiD Leicester, who'll tell you a little bit about who they are. So tonight you're going to hear about all these things. We want you to really get involved and get out of your homes and get back into the city and get business going again. You'll also hear from one of our students as well, Thomas, who's flying with his ideas, and it's really important that we give students a voice that are starting businesses. So we'll be starting in a moment. We've got 2 minutes to kick off, and this just might not work at all. We're going to try and get one of our graduates onto Zoom, and we're going to speak to her very briefly. And I'll just tell you now, she's at the Leicestershire Live Innovation Awards. So we're going to try and do a really quick Zoom call with her online, which might just all out fail. And if it does, we'll just move on very quickly. But that's how we're going to try and kick off tonight. So we've got about 1 minute to go, and then we'll get going, okay? Are we live? Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to our Connect event, Connect on campus here at Moffat University in the Vijay Patel building. My name's Simon. I am so pleased to see a whole real life audience, real people for the first time in 2.5 years. That is amazing. So give yourself a round of applause just for turning up. Absolutely brilliant. And of course, we understand not everyone can be here physically. So we're being live streamed on YouTube and on LinkedIn. So if you're watching live online as well, we really appreciate that you could be here. So thank you for that. So these Connect events, these started some years ago on campus and went down so well. So we have students, graduates, staff, and members of the public in the audience tonight. And they're just designed to inspire, to motivate. We have guest speakers. You're going to hear people tell their story. You're going to hear about exciting opportunities you can get involved with. And that's how we roll. And at the end, for the people who are not watching online and are here physically, we have networking and pizza and drinks as well. So there's a bonus for turning up, okay? So to start off with, and I do not know if this is going to work whatsoever, but tonight is the Leicestershire Live Innovation Awards 2022. So this is taking place in the city. It's recognising the talents of lots of people, including some of our very own students and graduates. So there is a graduate you might have read about. She's called Roshni Desai, a brilliant graduate, so clever, so talented, and she's a finalist at the awards tonight. And I thought, well, if we're going to bring back physical events, let's just be a little bit ambitious and let's just try and do something, which is probably a big mistake. And this might not work. But if I press this button, hopefully, Roshni might kind of come up on a Zoom call and we'll actually say hello to her. And if it doesn't work, we'll just clap our hands and move on and pretend it never happened. So just bear with me for a second and we'll just see if we can do this and get Roshni on. Who else is fed up of Zoom calls? Okay, let's see if anything happens. Oh no, it wants me to log in. Okay, give me a second, talk amongst yourselves. Okay, it's looking promising. That's me. Okay, so we'll wait a few seconds and we'll see if Roshni appears. Hopefully she will. And whilst we wait for that, let me just tell you what else is going to come up tonight. So we're going to be hearing from the Sir Thomas White Loan Charity. So these people, as I mentioned, they are the sponsors of our event. We have partnered with the Sir Thomas White Loan Charity, and this event couldn't happen if it wasn't for them. So we'll be talking, we'll be hearing from them a little bit later on about the work they can do and how they can directly benefit you. We have BiD Leicester, so we're going to be talking about this big new entrepreneurship project which is coming to the city. It's called Leicester Future Entrepreneurs, and we're joined by Simon Jenner, who's the director of BiD Leicester, and he's here tonight to talk to us as well. And we're going to be hearing from Gemma, who'll be one of the mentors collaborating in that program as well. Okay, so yes, I hate Zoom. I've had 2 years of it and I'm done with it. So we'll move on from that because Roshni's not on the other end. But as I said, Roshni is one of our contour fashion students and she is a finalist at the Leicestershire Live Awards, which are taking place tonight. So have a look at the Leicestershire Live socials, follow what's going on, and you'll be able to see if she's successful, and hopefully she will be. So we're going to move on and I'm going to talk to you about the Leicester Future Entrepreneurs Programme. So here in our city in Leicester, we have so many different programs. We have lots of different business support from some amazing agencies. There's loads going on in our city, as well as here in the university as well. But we saw a gap and we thought, actually, we want to do something that's a bit fresh. Because quite often, and we do it ourselves, we do startup business programs and you'll come along and you'll have different workshops. Here's one on tax, here's one on finance, here's one on marketing. We all know how these things work, and we all sit and watch as someone will present on a PowerPoint screen and they'll talk about the course and what's going on and the content, and that's fine. But we wanted to do something that was much different, that's really engaging, that's really practical, real hands-on workshops. So that's why we created the Leicester Future Entrepreneurs Program, because this is a whole series of workshops. So open to absolutely anybody, not just students and graduates. And you'll come along, and yes, we'll give you all those business basics, of course we will, but also we will integrate with what's going on in our amazing city. So this might mean site visits. You might go to somewhere like LCB Depot. Put your hand up if you know what LCB Depot is. Okay, good. So that's promising. So there's loads of sites in the city, and it's about taking, for our students, it's about taking them off our campus and into the city. And for everybody else, it's about meeting our students and also learning what's out there. So who knows about co-working spaces in Leicester? Does that mean anything to you? A couple of people? Yeah. So there are some set buildings that do it. So there's places like LCB Depot. Does anyone know what the Gresham is? Yeah, Gresham Works? No. So the Gresham is the old Phoenix building in the city. Big new workspace going on there as well. There's all these workspaces, but also the poor hospitality sector, which has suffered so long for the past 2 years. There's now co-working in pubs, in cafes. You can get free Wi-Fi. You can meet people. They'll do deals where it's like £10 and you get like coffee and you can work in there all day. So there's all these places across our city where you can go and work and meet people. And what we'll do with Leicester Future Entrepreneurs is we'll take the cohorts, we'll take the people on that program around the city to these different venues so that you can see exactly what's going on, meet the other people that are working there, and hopefully just embed our future entrepreneurs right in the heart of Leicester. That's what it's all about. And this is an open program for anybody. And I'm going to introduce you to Gemma. So if Gemma could just come up for me. So Gemma, just say a little bit about who you are and what you do for us.
So I'm Gemma Ryan. I'm a solicitor and chartered trademark attorney. So I provide advice to my clients on intellectual property law. So that might be trademark applications or protecting designs that you've made. If you've got any inventions that you've come up with, we can discuss speaking to patent attorney, because I'm not one, but I do know lots of lovely patent attorneys. And just really ensuring that anything that you are creating is protected from the outset, rather than it being sort of an afterthought, which sometimes happens.
And you've gone on a bit of a journey yourself, haven't you, in the last few months? Yeah. So could you want to say a little bit about that, because that's exciting?
Yeah, so I've worked in legal services now for 14 years, worked at different firms of solicitors and trademark attorneys. And recently, just to have a better work-life balance for me and my young family, I decided to start up on my own. So now I've established the little IP company, and I'm working on my own and providing sort of in-house kind of advice and one-to-one guidance for people in your sort of situation.
Exciting. It's good. Okay, thank you. So I wanted to introduce people to Gemma's face, because one of our promises on Leicester Future Entrepreneurs is fresh mentors. Okay, this is not to diss anyone out there that's already doing it or anything like that, but we want to bring fresh talent to the forefront, and that's not just the participants, that's the mentors as well. We want to hear from like people that have just made these big changes like you have, and come to it fresh and just share a little bit about your experience. So is that exciting for you to do that?
Yeah, it's really exciting. It's lovely to be asked to do it. And it's really scary when you're first starting out on your own. And I know that because I'm doing it right now. And it's a bit of a minefield, but just to have people to guide you, and lots of people have guided me, but because I've got that legal experience, sometimes it's a really expensive thing to pay for legal experience, but I'm here to give you that advice. So it's really important that, call upon me and we have chat about stuff.
Thank you. That's brilliant. Thank you. So the Leicester Future Entrepreneurs Program, like I say, it's about fresh talent, it's about fresh mentors, it's about fresh venues, and it's about fresh content. So we are promoting something fresh, something new for this city. And as I said at the beginning of this event, we just want to get people out of their homes and back into the city and back working together. And it's a real honor for us to be able to do it in partnership with BiD Leicester, which is on the same page with us in that respect with their work. So I'd like to briefly introduce you to Simon Jenner from BiD Leicester. So good to see you. So would you be able to just talk, for anyone who doesn't know what BiD Leicester is, would you be able to just briefly explain for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So you might not know, but right now you are sitting in the Business Improvement District. So what is it? It's a place. It's also a company. Sounds really boring, but actually we get to do some quite exciting stuff. So we originate in the UK back to 2004. There's about 330 bids in the UK. So every major city has a bid. What is it? It's a partnership. So we have about 700 businesses, anyone from your tiny little coffee shops right up to John Lewis, McDonald's, Next, your big names. We've existed here in the city since 2018. And so there's a piece of law that exists that says that you can set up a business improvement district if you do one of these, which is a business plan, and you have a ballot. So way back in November 17, this was produced, and the question was asked to the business community, do you want a bid? And actually Leicester was the only major city in the UK not to have a bid yet. So Manchester, Liverpool, Cardiff, Edinburgh, Glasgow. This has been happening in the UK for quite a while. And what it's about is partnership, and it's about selling a place and making sure that we show what's unique, what's fresh, what's exciting about Leicester. So we are a company, a small company. We have 8 staff. We've got an amazing board, and actually DMU, Sarah Thompson from DMU is on our board. We've got the chief exec of Curve. We've got the manager of High Cross. So very senior level backing from key players in the city. But what we actually do is quite fun. We do a lot of different projects. So we run TV adverts. We run arts and culture events. We have an ambassador team who walk around the city every day talking to people, welcoming the public, talking to businesses. They help with first aid. They help with lost children. They help with shoplifting prevention. But we do everything from street washing. And yesterday I was on the radio talking about gum removal, believe it or not. So we got some guys who are doing gum removal. They look like Ghostbusters, backpack, little spray, and they clean up the gum. So everything from street washing, from gum removal, street ambassador services, Sky TV adverts. We've got a massive event next week that you should all come to, Light Up Leicester, which is a light festival from the 3rd of March to the 6th of March. We've got 9 enormous installations across the city, completely free. It's great fun. I would honestly go to it if it had nothing to do with me, I promise you. Later on in May, we've got one of Europe's kind of major street art events that happens here in Leicester with the Graphwork Collective. That's Bring the Paint. So if you don't know about that, you're in for a treat. Come on down to that. And we run a load of other stuff. We have a gift card, which you can spend in about 140 businesses. So if you're buying stuff on Amazon and you're buying Amazon gift cards for your friends, don't do that. It's a really unhelpful thing to do for the local economy. It's a company with poor employment practices, massive amounts of air pollution, traffic congestion. It doesn't support local businesses. The Leicester gift card does. And if you want to take that to the pub and spend it in the pub, you can. If you want to go to a cafe, you can. You want to go to John Lewis or you want to go to Next, you can. So it's a MasterCard that you can spend in Leicester to support the local economy and have a great time. So we do a load of stuff. And what we do, there we go. The Leicester gift card. You can buy it on the website. It's a great gift. Literally, if you want to go for coffee, you want to have a bit of lunch, or you want to buy something in a shop, it's a really great thing to buy. But that's my little advert. We also run Independent Leicester, which is a campaign to promote independent businesses in the city. And it's really, really important that we have great independent businesses to differentiate Leicester from anywhere else. You might have heard of Clone Town. You know, Clone Town is a concept whereby we all just have the same shops as any other place. It's a little bit bland. It's a little bit boring. One of the things we love is independent businesses that are from Leicester. You go for a coffee and it's the founder owner you talk to, or the restaurateur comes and serves you your dinner. You know, these are great. You know, we have about 140 independent businesses that are part of our campaign. And we're really proud of the range of different businesses that exist in the city. Now, bringing it to this, what we've been talking to Simon about is startups and the future. So a lot of what we do is to generate value for the economy right now, here today. But this is also about the future. So it's about saying, some of you in the room might have an amazing idea. You know, you could be looking at retail products. You could be looking at food and drink. You could be looking at anything. But if you get the right advice and the right inspiration early on, and you make good decisions early on, there's no reason why you can't be one of those high street businesses of the future. So we're working with DMU to put on some great content. We want it to be really snappy, really engaging. And we also want to bring in people from the real world of business. So, you know, if we're talking about customer service, let's talk to John Lewis. You know, if we're talking about performing arts, we'll talk to Curve. If we're talking about retail, you know, let's talk to Next, whoever it might be. So we're able to broker in some really great people. And we want to provide a little bit of inspiration and a little bit of advice and support, and also access to space, so that some of you in the room can take your idea for your business and make it a reality. A lot of that is about confidence, and it's about believing in what you're doing, but it's also about getting the right plans and the right ideas together at the right time. And for that, we've got some fantastic expertise here from DMU, but also from the business community. So the idea with the project is that we want to work with around about 30 entrepreneurs. Some of those people will have a lovely time. They'll come to the sessions and they'll not do anything. They'll go and do something else. They'll go and work for somebody else. Some of those people could end up being really well-known businesses that are trading in Leicester, in the UK, and further afield. So the idea we have is that by working with DMU, by working with you, those of you that have startup ideas, we can see some of you trading in the high street in Leicester in the future.
Definitely, thank you. And if you're interested in that particular program, go on to dmumade.com. Okay, dmumade.com, and you can find all the information. And before I let you go, I just wanted to ask about your epic social events, because people should get involved with them if they can as well. Can you just tell us a little bit about those?
Yeah, I mean, that is actually something we've been doing recently. It's for people that are employed by DMU, unfortunately. So I don't know how many of you are employed by DMU, but we run social events where we bring people along to places like Curve. We go for a drink, we go for some dinner. We went to Comedy Festival last week, and the idea was that we introduce and showcase great businesses. So some of us have, know the city well, and we know that little cheeky little bar where you can go for a cocktail, or a great place for coffee, or where to go for lunch. But the idea is we're introducing people to great businesses and showcasing them. But the other advert I want to do is we are recruiting at the moment for a street ambassador. If any of you are durable, hardworking, don't mind being out in the weather and like to talk to people, like to go and meet businesses, talk to the public. If you look on our website, we're recruiting for that right now. It's a great role. It's hard work, but it's a great sort of starter for somebody if you want to get involved with the business improvement district.
Thank you, Simon. That's brilliant. Thank you. So as you would have gathered, and part of the purpose of these events, it is about getting off the campus and into the city, or getting out of your home and into the city. So have a look at things like BiD Leicester. Just look it up online, see what they do, and just get out there into the big wide world, because Leicester is so rich with all of this stuff. It's really, really important. I'm going to change the running order slightly because you might see this beautiful blue screen behind me, which obviously isn't supposed to be the beautiful blue screen. And I need to get some of the slides on. So whilst I play with that, we will move on out. I mentioned the Sir Thomas White Loan Charity at the beginning. Now, they're going to tell you everything about themselves. I won't. But I just want to say again, thank you, because we have worked with them, and I have personally, I don't know for how long, it might be 5-6 years, it might even be more than that, with something called Pitch to Win. And I'm going to talk about this a little bit later. But if you're a student or graduate and you have even a seed of a business idea, and I stress that, just a little bit of a business idea, that little idea could win you a big amount of money with our competition Pitch to Win. And this is something that's gone on for years with Sir Thomas White, and we've had some amazing winners. So I'll talk to you a little bit about that later on. But for now, I want to introduce Martin from the Sir Thomas White Loan Charity.
Yeah, no, I'm okay. Hold it. I think I'm okay holding it. Wow, it's the first time I've been on YouTube and gone live, but and you might gather that whilst I'm supporting Leicester as a city, not the football, hasten to add, or maybe I should. I'm actually a northerner, moved down here 34 years ago. One of the things I've got to say about Leicester is that it is an amazing city. I got involved in business startup about 20 years ago, when I was approached by somebody who was helping me with my business, and asked me if I'd do some mentoring with what was in them days the Business Link. And ever since then, I've been sort of passionate about seeing individuals and small companies thrive in Leicester. So Thomas White has been around slightly longer than 20 years. We believe that we're probably one of the oldest, if not the oldest charity in the country. Thomas White started in the 1600s. I think it was 1542. And I know that I'm right there because I got a nod from a colleague who's knows far more about that than I do. So Thomas White, he set up this business with a small amount of money that he wanted to use to encourage people through an interest-free loan. I believe in those days it was just for young men. Things have moved on slightly since then. With a small business loan, completely interest-free. Now, fast forward many years, and that's grown unbelievably so. So Sir Thomas White now, the actual charity is based in Warwickshire, and annually gives money out to the five counties. Now, Leicestershire, we receive every year we receive funding, and we're, I think, the only ones who actually do interest-free business loans. There is one other county doing it on a much smaller scale, which I believe is Northamptonshire, but certainly in Leicestershire, we're here primarily for helping people either start up a business with an interest-free loan, or we do some education loans as well for postgraduate studies. But the main reason we're here is to talk about our business loans. Now, the process is really quite simple, and we're here to support it all the way through. If you look at the Thomas White website, which is stwcharity.co.uk, you'll see that we've got on the front page there a fantastic animation showing exactly what it's all about. People say to us, or one of the things that I've come across working with Sir Thomas White over the last 2 or 3 years, is that people have said, you know, how can you do this? How can you give up to £20,000 interest-free, that we don't have to pay anything back for 3 years, and then we have a further 6 years to pay the rest off with no fees and no interest? It's the old adage, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. But in fact, it's not. That's exactly what we do. And what we also do is we will help support any applications through a fantastic panel of professionals that we can call on. So if somebody applies for a loan but needs help with the application from a financials point of view, from a legal point of view, we've got a whole raft of people who can help. Now, Sarah's also here with us today, and she knows far more about the application process and what we're looking for than I do. I tend to get more involved in going out and about and telling people what a fantastic offer this is. Now, there are some restrictions. We originally, or up until fairly recently, we had an age range of 18 to 35, and we only supported startup businesses. As things stand now, we've increased that from 18 to 35 to 18 to 45, and we also support businesses that are currently running that could do with a cash injection of up to £20,000. We do look for guarantors as well, because we are regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority as well as by the Charities Commission. So we need to practice due diligence. But once that's out of the way, the process is really quite simple. All we do is we ask you to come in for an interview once you've submitted your business plan, and it's a bit like a very, very kind Dragon's Den, where the people who are interviewing you really, really want to get you that money, really do. We're not asking for any sort of share of your business or anything, but we'll interview you. Within a month after the interview, you'll know whether you've been successful or not. And once the paperwork's completed and all the boxes are ticked, then the money goes into your account. That's not where we end. We will then you'll have one of the trustees who'll keep an eye on things and be there to offer any help during that first year of trading. And then they'll be around sort of moving forward. There'll always be support for your business. whether it's through our panel of experts, through the trustee who's working with you, and also I help with the initial side of things. So really, what we're always looking out for and always trying to sort of do is spread the word around Leicester and Leicestershire. The business needs to be within the Leicestershire or Rutland county borders, and we're constantly looking for ways of getting to people and getting the chance to explain to them that this service is there, and that anybody, within reason can apply. So that's Sir Thomas White. I don't know, are there any people in the room who've actually heard of Sir Thomas White? Go quick show. Anybody in the room who's actually applied for Sir Thomas White? Okay, got one there. Were you successful? Fantastic. So it works. So if anybody is thinking about it, speak to this chap. And we're always, we're very much an open book, and we're always happy for current borrowers or past borrowers to speak to people. And was that process simple? Very simple. And were there any catches? No. So you should be up here talking rather than me, because you've actually been there and done it. So yeah, we're looking for anybody who knows people who might be looking for funding. Anybody in the room who either is looking for funding now or wants to have a chat about the future possibilities. And we're here for you. Okay. And that's Sir Thomas White.
That's brilliant. And honestly, I can't stress enough, like I say, for years, I remember working with the Sir Thomas White Loan Charity through Pitch to Win and through other means as well. And the number one thing our students and graduates ask us for is finance. We do all the workshops and all the programs, but they want that finance to get going. And we always refer them here. And if the word loan puts you off and finance puts you off, as Martin said, their terms are unbelievable. This is not like going to a bank. It's absolutely unbelievable. So definitely look them up, and I'll tell you a little bit about Pitch to Win later on as well, and how you can access some of their money by just pitching a business idea through our competition as well. So really, really big thank you to them. And it's nice that we've now got the nice screen and not the blue screen as well. Which is particularly handy because our next speaker has some slides to talk you through. So I'm glad I sorted that out. So before I introduce him, at DMU, second year students get to go on to something called an enterprise placement year. So for 12 months, a group of students with a seed of an idea come onto the program, and we work with them intensively through workshops, through mentoring, with financial support as well. And they get to develop their business ideas for a period of 12 months. It's such a great initiative. And I'm really pleased to welcome Thomas from the Enterprise Placement Year to talk a bit about his work.
Hello. It's exciting to be at an event big enough that I need a microphone. Also a little bit nerve-wracking, but this is why I didn't become a singer, and I apologize for any indecisiveness whilst I decide whether to put this in the holder or hold it. But yeah, so my name's Thomas Wylam, and as I've already been introduced, I'm on the Enterprise Placement Year, which is for second year students who want to start a business, or in my case, undertake product development. And the university, I feel like I'm just repeating what Simon said. I don't know why I'm up here speaking, but the university provides mentoring and funding in order to help you start your business. So if I just find where the slides are. Cool. So my name's Thomas. Oh, I've done that bit. I want to start by talking about resources. I'm sure you're all aware that we live in a world with finite resources. And it's particularly here in the West that we have a system of unfettered consumption, which is both unsustainable and irresponsible. And so it's amongst those resources, and there are tons of these resources that are finite. I could pluck out any number, timber, oil, precious metals, emissions allowances. But it's something that unites all of those issues, and that's our attention. And so there are these devices in our lives, digital devices, that take up an awfully large amount of our attention. You know, for me in particular, my screen time, sky high. What I'm now going to do is pick somebody in the audience and ask them what their screen time is. I can see everyone's looking a little bit nervous, but it's okay. I'm just kidding. But, you know, it is something to think about, you know, how much time we spend on these devices. And I'm not a technology naysayer. You know, technology has led to some fantastic leaps in the past few decades. But I am cynical when it comes to consumer technology. So things, you know, like our mobile phones and so on. And the reason for that is that when we're looking down at these devices, we don't look up and see the world. And I think that means that we miss a lot of the important issues like inequality and improvements that need to be made to infrastructure. And so that's where I decided that I wanted to change that by designing a device which I hope will enable people to interact with the world a little bit more. So my device is a wearable for the hand. You might compare it to a smartwatch. It's made of a flexible kind of substrate material. And yeah, it does a lot of the stuff that your phones do, your smartwatches do, your computers do. But by putting these devices onto our hands rather than our wrists, you're able to pick up all these extra data points about the way that we interact with the world. So when you think about, you know, a smartwatch, the data that it's able to capture from the wrist, you know, in terms of the axial movements is much less than at the hand. And so the idea with this device is that we can minimize, by tracking these interactions that we have with the world, we can kind of create a device that minimizes the number of interactions that we have with the device. So that sounds weird, but it means that the device can act more intelligently to provide the applications that we rely on, because our devices are an extension of ourselves, right? They increase our, you know, our memory, our ability to complete tasks like, you know, I'm terrible at maths. So, you know, a calculator is quite important. And so I do think that these devices need to continue, you know, we do need to keep digital devices, but they just need to have a bit of a change. So obviously it's a bit of a weird thing to be stood up here trying to describe. So I've got a few examples of how you might expect to interact with a device like this. And so for starters, it might be able to unlock your smart lock. So by authenticating your identity, as your smartwatches do at the moment, it's then able to tell when you're opening the door so that it can unlock it. Additionally, you might expect that it could digitize your handwritten notes. So that's something that, you know, rather than having to go and sort of tippity-tap on your computer, by automatically creating those digital backups, again, it's a way to kind of save the time that we spend not engaging with people. So for the glasses wearers out there, if you take your glasses off and forget where you've left them, well, it's fantastic because the device can recognize the time that you took off your glasses, and so you know to go and look at the DMU Connect event where you took them off. So to compare this to some of the other devices that you might be familiar with, I've kind of created a matrix here that explains what the differences are. And so there are two key metrics to consider when thinking about the positive or negative impacts that these devices have on our lives, in my opinion. So responsiveness to the environment. You want a device that's very responsive to the environment in order to reduce the number of interactions that you have with the device. But then immersion, which is the extent to which the device obscures your experience of the real world. So some of you might be aware with this top image, which is Neuralink. So that's Elon Musk's device where he drills into your brain and puts a computer in there. That doesn't sound scary, does it? We all like that. And effectively, something like that has a significant ability to actually alter the way that you see the world, which I think is really negative. And equally, you have devices like AR and VR, which again kind of obscure the way that you see the world. And the main problem there, again, is that you could put on some AR glasses and you could block out people on the street that are asking for money or help. And so it kind of creates this potential for people to kind of isolate themselves. So my device, I'm positioning it in what I consider the golden zone, which is highly responsive, not very immersive, and so that's where it's reacting automatically to the environment to provide those contextual digital experiences. So on this placement year, I've been lucky enough to be given the funding and the mentoring to develop the device prototype. And I've also made fantastic use of some of the fantastic schemes that the university has on offer, such as graduate champions, which is where the university kindly pays for interns to work for local businesses. So I pretended to be a proper local business rather than just a DMU student, and managed to get a computer science student, Faisal, to come on board and help me build my prototype. So he was incredibly useful. We used TensorFlow, which is a machine learning software, which allowed us to kind of train data sets. I say us, it was mainly Faisal, but it allowed us to train data sets to categorize a lot of these movements so that the device could detect what was going on. We did come across a few issues, but I'll come to that in a minute. We also built a prototype using a flexible substrate because it's, at the moment, a lot of the technical devices that we use obviously have solid circuit boards. Obviously, if you're having a device that's worn on the hand, it needs to be flexible. So putting it into a flexible substrate was an important challenge. So with the prototyping, we came across a few issues, and that's why it's important to do prototyping. I was at a talk the other day, which was 2 days ago, and that was where the design unit here at De Montfort University was talking about the importance of prototyping and how it's important to discover potential errors before you just make the product. And absolutely, making the prototype, we came across quite a few problems with the design. In particular, I spoke about how awesome it would be to digitize handwritten notes automatically. And so it wasn't until we plugged in the device to TensorFlow and started trying to train the algorithm to detect what people were writing that we discovered that people actually do most of the writing with their fingers and not their hand. So that goes to show that the fidelity that you can pick up with the hand, even that is not quite enough to create a device like this. So there's some improvements to the form that needs to happen. Additionally, there's some sustainability issues. Obviously, with embedding electronics into kind of a flexible substrate like this, it's great to waterproof a device, but then when it comes to repairability and sustainability, it's terrible. So again, more changes needed there. So there's just a hand sort of drawn image just showing kind of how you might expect to interact with the device in real life. I could show the actual product, but it looks hideous. It's a huge box with lots of wires and so on, and nobody smiles when they say it. They're like, "Oh my god, is that like massive computer going to fit on my hand?" But so I guess to summarize, I'd say that I don't really know how far we'll be able to take this project, but I think the real key thing that I'd like to say to everyone today is definitely think about the way that you interact with your devices and think about the trajectory that we want to put humanity on, and think, do we want to be looking down at these boxes filled with unlimited information, or do we want to look up and as we are here today, speak with each other and so on.
Thank you, Thomas. So it's not easy to get up here and speak in front of an audience, especially after 2 years of actually not doing that. But Thomas has just proved that you can do it. And this brings us on to Pitch to Win, because what Thomas has just done would quantify as an entry to this competition. And this is what I was talking about earlier. So if you have a seed of a business idea, Pitch to Win can get you £1,000 from Sir Thomas White charity. Can you imagine what £1,000 would do to get your business off the ground? That is a significant injection, all thanks to the Sir Thomas White Loan Charity. So if you have an idea, or if you have an existing business that's in an early stage, whether you're a student or a graduate, you can apply for the Pitch to Win competition. And at the end of this slide deck, I'll show you a website, but you can see it here just in the corner dmumade.com. So if you go onto dmumade.com, you'll find all the details of how you can pitch your idea. And essentially all that happens is you send us a video pitch. You may then get invited to a pitch day where you'll come in to a very friendly panel, just like Martin was describing, as you would when you go to the Sir Thomas White Loan Charity. You'll get a very friendly panel with myself or a colleague and somebody from the charity, and you'll just talk through what your idea is with a couple of slides. That's it. That's all you have to do. Okay. And then 2 finalists from Pitch to Win will go forward to this massive event, which is happening in June. So in June, we are going to do our 2nd Enterprise and Entrepreneurship Awards. So this happened for the first time last year as a virtual event. This year, we're going big. We're taking over the venue, which is DMU's conference facility. We've got special guest performers. We've got lights. We've got all sorts of things going on at these awards because we're coming back with a bang. And within these awards, the 2 finalists from Pitch to Win will deliver their pitch to the whole audience, something like 150 people. And we'll have a panel there, and the audience will decide a winner, and that person will get the £1,000. So that sounds exciting, right? Yeah. So super exciting stuff going on, okay? And the message is, if you've got a seed of an idea, if you've got an existing idea, Pitch to Win and the awards are for our students and graduates. So if that's you, come forward, go to the website and give us your idea, okay? Because that idea could win you money, could win you recognition. And like Thomas did today, you know, he's just spoken in front of an audience in the room. We've got an audience on LinkedIn. We've got a really good number watching us on LinkedIn. And all those people who might never have heard of him before, or maybe they have, but now they know him. They know his name, they know his face, you know, they know a bit about what he's doing, and they can come forward and help him. So that's what we're here for. And that's why we do these Connect events as well, to connect all of you in the room with the university and with the city. So the website address, and this is the one single place, if you take away one memory from tonight of where to get all this wealth of information that you've heard. If you want information on BiD Leicester, if you want information on the Sir Thomas White Loan Charity, information on Pitch to Win, the awards, one-to-ones, how you can get one-to-one help, all sorts of stuff. It's all at this website, dmumade.com. It's in one single place to make it really easy. So have a look at that website, and I'll leave it on there behind me. So for the people in the room, again, massive thank you for coming. We are so grateful to see faces here. When we put on this event, we had no idea if anyone was going to turn up. Like genuinely, it could just be us in a room with a camera. We just have no idea what was going to happen. And we've got a full room, and that is fantastic. So as your reward for coming out tonight, you get pizza and drinks just out there. So I hope you'll hang around and talk to each other and enjoy the refreshments. And for everyone watching on LinkedIn or YouTube as well, we're really grateful that you've been with us virtually tonight and you're still connecting with us in that way. The last thing I'm going to say is a big thank you to my colleague Tammy. So if anyone came to these events back in the day in the Innovation Centre, you'll know Tammy always gets thanked because she's always the person who stands at the back who looks like she's not really doing much. To be fair, she hasn't in the last hour, but she did. No, I'm joking. But she did in the run up to this event. So, you know, I'm the one who gets to stand at the front of the microphone all the time, but there's always people behind doing all the hard work. So can we give Tammy a big clap as well? And you can keep clapping for our guests as well. So we had Simon Jenner from BiD Leicester. We had Gemma, we had Thomas, and we had Martin. So huge thank you. Our next event takes place in March, and it's not happening here. It's happening at a venue in the city, isn't it, Tammy? Yes, so I can say where that's happening. So that is happening at Manhattan 34, which is the cocktail bar. So we're going to be in there for the next one because we want to get you out into the city. And then future events will happen either here or at a location in the city. So massive thank you for coming. We're really grateful. And I'm going to get a drink and some beer and a lie down. So thank you.